the Indian government announcing launch of a budget app. To discuss further, let me invite my friend from UK, Mr. Naval Gun.
Good morning, CK. Good morning, everybody. An app, CK, from a government. My goodness, really is 21st century. So, what's the scoop? What's the news on this app?
Well, we are going to start the budget session on 1st of February, where the India's 2021-22 budget will be presented by our Honorable Finance Minister, Mrs. Raman, and she will be talking about all the 45 50,000 commodities, including defense and transportation and education and whatnot. So everything will be discussed in this budget and presented. IMF announced that India is going to show growth of 11.5%. So from almost negative growth to 11.5% in 2021, I think this budget is very exciting. Every Indian is looking towards it, how this is going to help us in our growth. This is very, very important. And the Finance Ministry announced that they will be launching an app. The app can be downloaded now. It's available on Android and iPhone, and you can download it. Any Indian can download it. But the budget will not be available until Mrs. Raman finishes her speech, first introductory speech in the parliament. As soon as her speech is over, the budget can be downloaded. And all the 14 sections of the budget will be available for review. Anyone who is interested in reading about the budget, there is no need to go to the newspaper, go to the website. You can get it in your mobile. Just download an app, and it will be secure, it will be actual, and the way they are announcing in the parliament, the same thing you can review on your mobile phone. So I think it's a big deal. First time in our history, at least, we have seen such a thing being done, so that everybody is more aware about what is being presented.
That sounds absolutely brilliant, and there must be some underlying reason. I mean, why an app? Have they created an Android app and an iOS app? Did I hear they've created both apps?
They have already created the apps, and those are already available on the stores, Android Play stores as well as iPhone stores.
That's really good, and as you say, it's a way to get the message over without anyone interfering with it. So without the newspapers putting out their interpretation. So we're seeing the facts live for once. So rather than, when we have a budget in the UK, all we hear is the Chancellor of the Exchequer. The speech is released, so it's a hand copy that's released to all of the news agencies, and of course they can put their own interpretation on it. But it's a hard copy. I'm sure they've probably got digital copies these days, but we see all of these journalists with literally thick, hard copies carrying around with them. You need a briefcase to carry it around because it's so thick. But I can see this is a great move. I'm really excited by the Indian government going into the world of digital, because it reaches such a wide audience. So what do you think the reasoning behind the app, apart from all in one place? Why do you think they're putting it out in an app?
Well, usually, when people follow budget, these are already very fiery debates, which happens for next 15 days after 1st of February. And it's an annual budget session of the parliament where the budget is a main agenda, besides everything else. But the objective of this session, usually before March, is to finalize the budget, because our financial year starts on 1st of April. So the budgets are announced before that, and all political party break their head, all the leaders, and then pass it from the parliament so that it can be implemented from 1st of April. There are whole lot of confusion created by the opposition all the time, and it's not new. It's been happening since last 70 years, where the interpretation can be A, B, C, or X, Y, Z, and then the debate starts. There is debate inside the parliament, there are debate on the TV channels, and there are debate on the streets. So I think this is a very good move to prevent all of that confusion, because confusion can be created by misinterpretation, or sometimes deliberately omitting few words and creating a confusion. So all sort of things happens. So I think I really appreciate, as a citizen of India, that now all of those via medias are gone. You can read the budget directly without going to any website or newspaper interpretation. You can just do it from the government.
That's brilliant, and I think there's probably another underlying reason why the government are putting it out in this 21st century technology mode. You know, an app, and that's to reach the young audience, so that the young audience will download an app. They'll more happily download an app than what's a news channel. And it may be that they could interrogate that app and be more engaged in the politics of the country. So I actually think it's a really smart move. And fundamentally, what is an app? So let's just look very simply at what an app is, because it's a form of communication. It's a push form of communication. So when you download the app, it's all there. Everything's there. It's formatted in a way that you want someone to see it. So I'm guessing that you can drill down into the subjects. And if you get bored with one subject, you can drill across. And so let's hope it's a well designed app so people can move around it. And the main thing here is it's to get rid of all of the false communications. So on the basis that it's secure, so we need to make that leap of faith, so no one can hack it. It's a simple form of communication where the hope is everybody gets to see the same information. But as with apps, we do know apps are only available on smartphones. So there's the downside to this, CK, isn't it? How many people have got smartphones? Are the aging population of the country, typically they may have a smartphone, but will they be conversant with apps? Would you think they'll be wanting to look at this through an app?
Neville, I'm reading the article which came in the paper today, and I'm thinking that they have taken care of every possibility. First of all, the app will be available in multiple languages, at least bilingual, so people can choose what language they want. So it's English or something else, so they can choose that. That is the first thing. Second is it's not only the current year's budget; they are providing last 15 years of budget being available, so you can drill to even the retrospective budget if you want to see retrospective what is how the government has started things and what is the state of affairs now. For last 15 years those budgets are available. You can literally go and do a lot of research if you have an app. The third thing is nothing is downloaded on your device. It's all coming from the Ministry of Finance website, and so it's a central location, and hence I don't think this is prone to multiple copies being floating around. The source will be the same website. So now you see it is available on smartphones, it is available on iPads, it's available on Samsung pads or whatever, and also through web pages. So, and having one data source, that is how they are planning to launch this.
Well, the fact that they're putting it all in one place and trying to get people to focus on that one place is is fantastic. Really, it's a way that you want to hear communication. You don't want fake news to be given to you. And let's hope that all of the elderly population get engaged with this as well. Because if we can get people into using apps, then there's other opportunities, like welfare, well-being of elderly, that we can also get them to use in an app too. So it's fascinating news, really. From my point of view as an accountant, I love to see these things because you can really drill down and drill across, and you can see the trends, and hopefully there'll be a few graphs on there. I'm not an Indian citizen, so I'm not too sure I'm going to be able to download it, but you never know. I'll give it a go. If it's available, I'll have a look at it. But it is definitely the way ahead. So congratulations to the government of India for making this huge leap of faith and looking towards engaging more with the community, more with its citizens, because that's how we get real democracy. More engagement, more transparency. So fascinating subject for today, CK. I hope everyone. When's this app going to be available? Do we know? You say, is it available to download now?
It's available to download now. You can download it, but it will not be active till the later part of February 1st, because I think the data will be uploaded only after finance minister finishes her speech. So after that, the data will be available. And all Indians should be able to download the app from the app stores. But Naval, let me also make one point here. You see, the budget, usually Indian budget, I can talk about, is usually runs into thousands and thousands of pages, at least 20,000 pages. It's like one big book which is published every year, and nobody can read the entire book. By the time you finishes the book, I think the year will be over.
It's the next
So
year.
right. So I think advantage is that, for example, I will not be interested in reading the whole thing. I will like to know what is relevant for me. So if you have an app, then as you said in the beginning of our video, that you can pretty much search what you want to look at really. So instead of wasting time and going through, hey, where is what I want to know about budget, and totally clueless which page it is. First you have to go to index and all that, and then index will be also running in 10 pages. So it's very tough. Here, if you have an app, you can simply type what you want to search, and the app will bring it up for you. So I think it's a very good move by Indian government, because now you mentioned elderly. Elderly would like to know what is the increase in their pension ex grata. I think that is what they are more interested about. We are interested about, hey, how much income tax we have to pay, what is the corporate taxes, and like that. There are different category of people like to know different things. They are not interested in aerospace budget or defense budget. Why we should read about it? So I think that is the biggest advantage this app offers, where I can actually read what is being proposed and passed by Indian government relevant to me as an individual.
It's brilliant. I mean, in my corporate days, I would call that line of sight. So I've got a clear line of sight into what I'm interested in. Of course, lots of people are going to be interested in all of it. So again, hopefully it's in a good summary format. I've not seen the app. You've not seen the app, so it's going to be interesting to see what it is. I mean, the success of it, interestingly enough, is if lots and lots of people download the app. That's easy because that's not bandwidth. But as soon as you start to use the app, presumably it's going to be bandwidth. So it's going to be interesting to see whether the website, as you say, where all of the data depository is going to be, whether it really gets hit hard. Because frankly, I would love it to crash. And the reason I would love it to crash is because they will then know they're succeeding. They will know that actually, and people will know they're succeeding as well. Because all of a sudden, if websites crash, you do know that lots of people are interested. So in some respects, people would say that's very negative. But a website doesn't crash. It doesn't physically crash. It just gets clogged up and you can't get in. It's a bit like any, on Zoom, you have a maximum sometimes of 100 people. And as soon as the 101st person comes in, well, that's it. You're not allowed in. So I would love it to be bombarded from all sorts of people in India, that are interrogating their budget, because this is going to affect their livelihoods. So let's hope that they've got big bandwidth anyway, but let's hope that it's inundated so that they see that people are really interested. Because it's the best way out, really. It's a bit like having your customers hit all of your, you put a special offer on your website and all of a sudden all of your customers get to know about it. It goes viral and bash, you get 1,000 downloads. I really do hope people get engaged with this, because it's definitely 21st century. It's the way to communicate, good news on the basis that everyone's got access to a smartphone or a tabloid or what have you. But the more important thing is it's engaging with young people. So I really do hope a lot of success for this app, and let's get conversations going. We can start a conversation here. Come on, all you young people, talk about a budget that you've never heard of before in your life.
Absolutely, the young people will be starting their job, their career, and when IMF projecting very uh, fantastic numbers, growth numbers for India, 11.3, 11.5% growth. I think it's going to be a lot of job availability in 2021 for Indians. And you mentioned something technical like crashing the site. So I know certain things about Indian IT setup. So I can just throw a little bit on that subject as well. The thing is that India has a very huge population, and there is no one data center in India which can cater to the entire Indian population. So usually, if you look at a bank cannot provide a centralized banking from one location. Any large bank in India will have more than at least more than 10 to 15 data centers in a distributed manner, so that in case of any failure, they will have uh, a failover criteria available. So for Government of India, the IT is managed by a department called NIC. They are one of the largest IT setup globally by any government, maybe comparable to US government. And the full form of NIC is National Informatics Center, and it's a huge outfit having more than 50 to maybe 60 data centers across India. And this budget is going to be available from the NIC website, which is also hosted by them. So I'm sure they have taken care of all possibilities. They will not let their data sites, crashing down.
I'm sure they won't. I mean, I was being tongue in cheek. But the main thing is, the more people look on it, the bigger bandwidth is available and to be used. And more importantly, your government is getting immediate feedback from you, which I think is the real positive part of all this. I mean, what an app does, it allows line of sight both ways. So they're not going to be looking at what you're looking at. They're going to be looking at what everyone's looking at and getting some really good statistics back to them as to what's important in the country. And even as we know, you and I know, that if we're accessing the app from specific locations, then we can actually trace the interest to that location. And again, they're not going to be, this is not going to be a big brother, breathing, looking over your shoulder, seeing what you're looking at. This is really for the government statistics to find out what people are really interested in, how they can tailor what they do as an organization going forward. And as you say, more importantly, this is going to actually be an indication of where the jobs are coming from. So I think it's got massive, massive reach and a massive use. And I look forward to hearing a bit more about it when it actually goes live.
Yes, Neville, we will return on this very subject on probably 1st of February or 2nd. I will discuss this again. We will also check the rollout, any challenges. But I thank you so much for finding time to discuss this positive news emerging from India, and also showing us the way how 21st century will shape up. So I will catch up with you tomorrow on something more interesting. Until then, goodbye.
Goodbye, CK. Goodbye, everybody. Have a fun day.